Welcome, flight crews, to lesson number 2 here at Angle of Attack, and welcome to flight work training in the 787. We're so excited to bring this to you. We're actually going to get in the aircraft today and kind of work the airplane out and do some pre-flight flows to get this thing started and woke up. We're at the gate here in Miami, Florida, and we're sitting at gate, I believe, Echo or Gulf 19, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to do an early morning flight departure out of here. We're going to show you the paperwork and all that stuff here in a little bit. But we're going to go from Miami to St. Thomas International Airport. Now, is this really a 787 route? The answer is no. The 787 flies a long distance. And we're really going to get into that in line work. In line work, we're going to talk about ETOPS training. We're going to talk about big, long flights. We're actually going to do them. And but this one, we just really wanted to get you started and get you oiled up for, can you basically fly this aircraft, take off, pushback, startup, takeoff, climb, cruise, descent, land. And that's really what we want you to do with the flight work lessons. Just get you comfortable with the aircraft in the cockpit. Now, the first thing, if you direct your attention to the cockpit, you can't really see anything, but wow, this thing is an amazing, amazing piece of technology that I'm really excited to be learning with you. It's such a fantastic airplane. Just a word of caution, this is the beta version of the Quality Sim, or the Quality Wings. You guys have the release version, which is great, so there might be some things that are different. So they're more accurate. You have the more accurate data, but we still can do it. We've been playing this airplane for a long time now, and it works very, very well. So without any further ado, let's get in here. Now, a normal flight crew is going to get in here. They're going to look at a few things, right? They're going to look at crash acts, they'll look at log, the tech log, all that stuff. Make sure the charts are in. This has got an EFB, but whatever. Make sure all the charts are on board the aircraft, the crash acts, the rope, fire extinguisher, any safety things they're going to work on. So we're going to jump right in the cockpit, and this procedure doesn't take very long. It takes about maybe 10 minutes to do, and you guys have a copy. Hopefully you downloaded the copy of our flows, our 787 Angle of Attack flows. I recommend to use those because we're going to do this bit by bit. Now, I don't care about time. Normal, again, line work series, we're going to be really cranking because we're going to want to turn the aircraft as fast as we can. Now it's about training, it's not about time. So kind of forget the time, but we're still going to try to be efficient best we can. So let's go ahead, and my initial thoughts on this cockpit is absolutely amazing. It is beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of software. They did such a good job at Quality Wings producing this aircraft, and we're excited to bring this to you. So let's go ahead and jump in the captain's seat. Now, we're going to take it from this profile, and I recommend you to download our EasyDock profile as well. This will help you get through this. Now, the first thing we have to do is we're going to have to start up this airplane. Now, it's cold and dark. We're sitting at the gate. We're the first flight of the day. It is a cold and dark aircraft. It's been sitting all night in good old warm Florida. It's not that hot out there. So that's a positive for us. Now, the first thing we're going to want to do is go on the overhead, and I'm going to have a flashlight. Now, it's assumed that you turn on the external power, and I'll show you how to do that. If you go to the Views section and you go to Instrument Panel, you can click up this Quality Wings Control Panel. And I've clicked on External Power. And you guys might have something different at this point, at this stage in release, but I don't know if they're actually going to change this too much. But external power you want on, and once we do that, then we can do the rest of this. So we're going to go on the overhead, so up, and you can't really see, so I'm going to throw the flashlight on. Thank you. And then we're going to go ahead and scroll down till you see this electrical panel. It's very hard to see this dark, but we've fortunately got a flashlight, right? So the first thing we're going to do is throw that battery switch, and you can see it's this middle switch right here. We're just going to push it on. Okay, so we're going to throw the battery switch on. Now what that has done is just energized a few things. I turned the panel overhead on, and you could have fun with this. And there's the dome light. I'm going to throw some dome light on so we can see what we're doing, and that helps. There's your master. So let me just shut it off. It looks like that if you don't turn the lights on. But I'm going to turn the battery on. I'm going to come right down here and give it some lights. I'm going to throw on the dome. There we go. And I'll worry about the master brightness later. I'm not too concerned with that. The second thing we want to do is check the hydraulic panel. That's this right here. You want to make sure the demand pumps, we have 2 demand pumps and they are off. And then the electric C1 and C2s are off as well. I want to throw the engines off. We don't want them on. And that's it for this. So we're going to go 1, 2, wipers 3, and make sure the wiper's off, which we have done that. We're going to go to the nav light, or the lighting panel, which is over here. We're going to make sure the nav light is on. It better be on. And then we're going to go to the logo light. We are actually going to turn the logo light on because it's pretty dark outside, so we're going to make sure that's on. And then we're going to transition to the landing gear. And we just want the gear lever. Gear lever is down. We're not going to worry about the ICAS yet. I know it says ICAS, what does it say? But the airplane's booting up. The computers are actually booting up. There it goes. And I'm going to zoom into you, and you can see we have a down indication, and that's what we're looking for when we put the gear down. When the gear is down, we want to make sure we have that down indication. Okay, the next thing we're going to check is the alternate flaps. Now, we're going to go down here. I'm just going to click and drag. You can kind of see where I'm going. This is capped and that is off. This is the alternate flap switch. And you got to make sure, and I can't really zoom in, but you got to make sure that's in the off position. And both of those are off. So alternate flap arm switch is off, and your alternate flap selector is off. So these 2 switches will be off. Okay, after that, we're going to go down to number 7 if you're keeping track. We did 7 and 8. Now you're going to go to the external power. We're going to go from here back up to the overhead panel, and we're going to go. We need some light. We need some power. We're draining the aircraft right now of it, all of its essential power. As you can see, it's got available. So let's go ahead and throw that on. You might have to press it twice, and you're actually going to hear fans. Just listen. I'll be quiet. And that's number 9. Now we've got external power on the aircraft. You hear the fans kicking on, the avionics fan? There it goes. Great. Now we're going to come over here, and your pack switches. They need to be on the off position. And our recirc fan, we're going to turn the lower fan, and you're going to listen. There's your stick shaker. There you go. Overspeed, stick shaker, that kind of stuff. And your upper recirc fan, you're going to turn on. Leave the lower fan off unless you're running, if you're running pneumatic air, so if you're running air from the outside, which we're not, it's not modeled yet, you have to turn the lower off. So we're just going to keep it on because we're not running that yet. And that completes the whole power-up section. And one thing I will do is I'm going to throw on some master lights. I'm sure by the time we get it here, this will dim or not your lighting. And then I'm just going to scroll down here. You can see this panel lit up pretty well. And I really like this. And the airplane's doing its thing. It's booting up. It's getting all the IRS, and we have to align everything. And that's going to be the next step. The next step is a long one. The next step is the pre-flight section. You just woke up to 787 with all of its electrical systems, the whole 9 yards. It's woken up. Now, the cool thing is, I mean, sure you've known this, the ICAS display here. If you click Systems, which I like to start with, you can see your general systems. Take a look at your electrical panel. You can see we're connected external. All the buses are online. And it's not really load shedding, it has enough power. So that's really nice, because this airplane really conserves a lot of energy because it's got so much electrical electrical power associated with this. And you can look at your ICAS right here, and all these amber annunciations should be normal, and they are. hydraulic pressure system, it's low. Engine shutdown, that's good. Pack left and right. We've got nav, inertial system. Lit up. Flight controls, primary flight computers, hydraulic pressure, both left and right. Fuel pressure, engine left and right, trim air. But that's all normal. So expect that. Just a little, I want to walk you through the cockpit because I think that lesson, that power-up is a little quick. So let's take you through the actual cockpit here, just kind of an introduction. This is your flight control surface panel, and this panel actually is not modeled. However, in the real aircraft, excuse me, let me get a drink. In the real aircraft, it will lock out the tail and the wing control surfaces. It's for maintenance. Yeah, you're thinking, if you're anything like me, very analytical, very, what's the word? Cynical. Maybe not cynical, but a little sarcastic. I'm thinking this. Well, if we can lock the flight controls, what happens when I go to take off and I didn't check that? That's where my mind goes, right? Boeing did a great job. They said after 40 knots, those things are going to unlock. So they're supposed to do that. I don't trust that. So we just want to make sure they're capped and they're off. These next coming down is your IRS panel and your heading reference. Below that is a flight computer switch. So you have disconnected and auto. There's actually 3 flight computers, primary flight computers on this aircraft. We'll talk about those a little later in the systems section. This whole panel here is your electrical system. Okay, we're going to make sure those are checked, but not right now. We're just going through this. Down here is all your lighting, passenger signs, lights. These are your anti-ice lighting. Again, lighting's down here, very typical for Boeing. This is your hydraulic panel. And then you have, excuse me, I just jumped a little bit. You have your window heat, oxygen, passenger oxygen. You don't want to push that button because that'll drop the masks. Okay. Emergency lighting, your flight deck door, if it's locked, towing power. This is your ground test switch, normal, data load, enabled. It's always on normal. Your CVR test. This is your fire. Yeah, you're right. Cargo fire's up here, so you can test and hold APU, and then you have your 2 others who discharge a bottle. Your engine starters are right here. Now we're talking about fuel. Let's go to the fuel jettison panel. This is your fuel jettison and your fuel pump panel. Crossfeed, left tank, right tank, and your center pumps. Okay, and there's actually a balance switch. It automatically balances. So cool. Again, 737 pilot, that is new to me. You always had to do it manually, right? Open the crossfeed, throw off some pumps, have it crossfeed. We talked about the engine anti-ice and the wing anti-ice is right here. And again, I'll talk to you a little more in depth about what they mean, but there's actually an auto ice system which actually senses the ice, and then it'll kick on the system. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool system that way. Your cargo temp is up here. You got your ELT. Your humid is really cool. This allows humidity in the cabin, so like I said, more comfortable for the passengers. Then scrolling down is your air conditioning panel. As you can see here, you have aft equipment, and I'm just going to throw those on auto now because I don't want them overheating on me. And your recirc valves, we talked about your recirc fans, we talked about those, and your cabin temp. These are your pack switches and trim air. Coming down is your pressurization, is either auto or manual. We want them on auto for now. Wipers, again, and your FO side of things. Now, dropping down here, I imagine, we're going to spend most of our time right in here, right? We're going to spend most of our time in this. This is where we can display certain things. You see the engines, if you don't like that, you can push that over, and I can throw the ND on here and have a full ND, okay? Which is really cool. I can click plan, you can see map mode. Now it's not going to pull up because it's not aligned yet or anything like that. So I like to start off with the ICAS on my side for now. Typical Boeing fashion, you have your MCP here, and FO side is the same. Now one thing that is different, the EFB. We have a full EFB and it does work. It probably is going to work a little more functional when you get the aircraft. We have certain things that are disabled right now, but probably work, and it really won't inhibit anything that we do. So, which is really nice. And then scrolling down through here, this is something very new to this aircraft, is the CDU is actually a flat screen. This is actually not a button. You can push the buttons here or here, it doesn't matter. That's what this control pad is. We don't have to work with that in real aircraft. You would use that. It's kind of like a mouse, so you can mouse over and click, click, click. Those kind of things. Or you can press it here. Throttle quadrant is the same as a normal typical aircraft, Boeing airplane. You have your flaps, throttle, reverse thrust, speed brakes, control, cutoff valves, your engine cutoffs, your engine fire. Now, something very unique about this airplane as well, I want to get into it, is right here. All of your stuff in your communication panel is right here. You have HSIS, you have SATCOMs, you have cabs, you have GPWS, weather radar, and transponder, all controlled by this panel. Really cool. Transponder mode's over here, okay, and your rudder aileron trims right here, and we'll get into this all. This is obviously your mic selection, both left and right. There is an observer panel as well, so you can use that. Really cool stuff that we're going to get into. Now, one thing that I had to figure out was, how do I change the VORs? And we're going to get into that later, but it's all done really in CDU. So this airplane is really, really cool, and I'm really excited to bring it to you, and really excited to get into this a little bit more. So hope you enjoyed this lesson. You woke the aircraft up. That's the first thing. So once you go ahead and click the next lesson, we're going to go into lesson 3. That's the pre-flight. Very much, we're going to start getting this airplane programmed and getting it set for a flight. So until next time, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Keep your comments going. Until next time, throttle on.